Now, I don't think anybody would be happy with the defense for West Virginia this year. Not the fans, not the players, not the coaches. And if you look strictly at the numbers, it is not good. Now, it's better than last year in pretty much every category, but it's not good. Now, if you look past the numbers, if you look at the players, the problems, and the fixes, it gets pretty danged impressive. I know a lot of people want to see at least Jordan Lesley or the entire defensive staff fired. But if you look at what they really did, it is an impressive job. Now, I just ticked a lot of people off, and let me explain. Okay, we've gone over some of this before, and everybody's going to say, oh, it's excuses, it's excuses. No, it's reasons, it's reasons. Now, by the time we got to conference play, we had lost Trotter, Miller, Cobb, and Austin Cave to injuries. All right, it's 2 linebackers, one of whom might have started, but at least 2 solid backups, plus a corner and a safety. So we were in a bind, and Wilson, Lamp, and Spells, 2 more corners, had played themselves out of snaps. Wilson Lamp did not recover. He went downhill the rest of the season. Spells got back on the field with increasing snaps the last several games, but not Baylor. Not clear what's happening there. But that means by the time we started conference play, we were down 6 players on the back 2/3 of the defense. Now, if you don't think the defensive coaches were swearing on a regular basis, you're not thinking. But along with that swearing, they were thinking. They had to come up with something. With what they did, I don't know how much of it was already in the plans and how much of it was ongoing adjustment. But it was some pretty neat work. First, they started flipping Lathan and Koba between Will and Mike. And you never knew who was going to be where, who was going to be coming, who would be doing what. And it worked. Then they used 2 bandits on the field at the same time. It worked. They put Marcus Floyd in as a spear nickel who did a lot of blitzing, and it worked. Every one of those was something they hadn't done before, so the opponent did not have film, didn't see it coming. But if you're going to keep making adjustments every week, you have to have guys who know the defense. And that's where things started to fall apart. TCU, we lost Lathan for the season. Burks, we lost for a game, and he had good games after that, but I'm not sure he was fully back, in the head game all the time. But, and Lathan, not the straw that broke the camel's back, but sure the straw that deflated the hump. Cutter and Lathan, in terms of talent, ability, they are probably pretty dang close. I'm not going to say one is any better than the other. But Lathan had a year of experience. He knew the defense better. You could change things every week and expect him to adapt. With Cutter, you had to give him a chance to play his way into the defense before you started making too many adjustments. Plus, of course, the other teams had now seen those various tricks, so they're not going to work as well the second time, third time, whatever. They just become packages that you use, for a few plays here and there. But, hey, a quick break here. Just asking you, please subscribe, comment, click the thumbs up, and share with your friends. Back to the video. Any defense, this is defense 101. First thing a defense has to do is disguise, deception. That's why, offenses do an awful lot to try and make the defense reveal their plan. Because every defense has a weakness. If you know what defense is coming, you know where the weakness is. So you can make a quick strike at that spot. Second thing in defense is disruption. Because even if you've managed to disguise the defense at the snap, you have to make sure the offense doesn't have time to figure it out. So you have to have enough pressure, enough things going on to draw attention away from the scheme. They were doing that in a brilliant manner for the first few games. With Cutter, his first game wasn't that good. It took him a while to get going in the basic defense. He was hitting the wrong gaps. And now here's where we get into it, because coverage was an issue. But what was the issue? The corners, Bishop and Ruffin, were good. Bishop was exceptional most games. He had a couple of bad ones, but very good. Ruffin was above average. And considering the number of snaps they played, that's impressive. It hurt us on special teams because they were playing so many snaps. They couldn't play special teams. They may have played a little, but probably not much or not at all. The safeties were a coverage problem, whether we're talking Floyd, Burks, or, criminy, Wilson. Now, they weren't bad all of the time. Sometimes coverage was terrific. There were some sacks due to the coverage. But I don't think, even when the safeties didn't have good coverage, I don't think that's where the problem started. Linebacker. Now, Koba, that was always the knock on him, that, he was better at run defense and disruption than pass defense. I think, at least initially, is the same true of Cutter. How many times did we see a quarterback have to throw over the underneath coverage of the linebackers? Not many. We were seeing passes between, especially, hash marking inward or, in that general range. And nobody between the quarterback and the safety. Linebackers have to get in the lanes. They have to get enough depth to, disrupt the pass. And I need to go back and, but I mean, I think there were a lot of times it didn't even seem like a linebacker was in the picture. So, yes, safety should have had better coverage much of the time, but linebackers were not complicating the process. If nothing else, they were giving the quarterback a darn clear view of where he needed to throw. So, what could they do? We lost Favre, so we were down another, linebacker. I don't know if he was better in coverage or not, but at least it was, a break, a difference. Dixon got his butt suspended. Exactly what for, we may never know, but doesn't look like we'll ever see him on the field again for WVU. So down a spear. And I mean, the defense just was a mess in terms of what the coaches could do. No point in asking a player to do something that they just flat out aren't going to be able to do yet. Now, by the bowl game, probably. By next year, certainly, Cutter is going to be very, very good. Right now, he is erratic. And I suspect that pass defense is an issue. Hitting the right run gap was definitely an issue at times. So, don't blame the coaches for not being able to have a top 25 defense. It could have been a top 25 defense, possibly even if we just don't lose Lathan, much less all of the other injuries. But you cannot, there's a limit to what you can do, and don't give me this crap about it's the coach's job to have the players they need. Well, yeah, it is. And how do you do that with 85 scholarships and, other limitations? And, the players spread out over a 5-year age period. You can, how do you lose 4 linebackers and expect them to have a 5th guy ready to go? It's not going to happen. I don't even know if Georgia, Alabama, and those guys could handle that. So you look not just at the results, but the reasons and what you make out of what you have. How they make, okay, the Oklahoma game, the defense sucked rocks. Exactly why, I have some guesses, but overall they played badly. And Oklahoma played well. But in most of the games, the coaches got a heck of a lot out of those particular pieces and players. And that includes the last play of the season, when we did see Marcus Floyd bring pressure, slip right around that lineman, and reach for the ball. It was an impressive job. They were not impressive numbers, but there's more to most things than numbers. I know some people worship numbers, but there's more to it than numbers. And when you get down to people, it gets pretty dang complicated. So they worked with the people very, very well. Okay. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Click the thumbs up, I hope. Comment and tell your friends. And I'll be seeing you later. It's almost time to find out who's going into the portal. Hoo-hoo!